That was shocking.
That was like
that might be due to you.
Clemson fans.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
that was actually
okay. Well, tell the research.
What are people watching?
Did you see
Really?
the sample size? N equaled 11,293. It's a pretty big sample. The people have spoken. They want more Trevor Lawrence content.
And finally, obviously, the most motivational and inspirational segment in all of sports, the Bud List, with a special surprise appearance. Did I spend several minutes making a chat GPT of Brew and some robots? Yes,
I liked it.
But we are not going to use that in
We're not using it?
Something else.
I think
Alongside Nick Wright and Broussard. The robots?
Yeah, or the whole
human fallibility. What am I?
You love the robot thing.
Well, I'm not anymore. You put the world on notice yesterday.
You did.
They are coming.
Everybody knows I was right.
We're starting the show with a bevy of Micah Parsons news. Jane Slater reporting that Micah is getting a second opinion on his ailing back, which some people have diagnosed as contract disputitis. Meanwhile, a dressed-up troll tweet suggesting that Micah could be traded to the Packers was sanitized and addressed by Packers GM Brian Gutekunst. Take a listen.
First of all, I can't talk about any players on any other teams, but I think, again, every opportunity that's out there that if we think it could help the Packers, we're going to take a long, look at. And, again, if that opportunity makes sense to us, then we'll do it. And if it doesn't, we won't.
In addition, Micah's brother framed this dispute in pugilistic terms, saying, "This is going to get ugly, put your gloves on. This is going 12 rounds. Not sure what round we're in now." Nick, are you doubting this gets done? And you have your secondary research phone out. You're like Adam Schefter right here on the
speaking of Schefter a few minutes ago, along with Todd Archer and Dan Graziano, article, sources, Cowboys appear open to Micah Parsons trade offers.
Okay.
And several teams, to read from the article, shout out to the guys for doing the work. We'll read it. Several teams have spoken to the Cowboys about potential Micah Parsons trade. And for the first time, the Cowboys appear willing to at least listen, according to multiple sources. No trade's imminent, but another team always could be aggressive enough to make it come together quickly, per sources. So that's the first reporting that the Cowboys, that Micah's trade request is potentially a two-way operation. You know what I mean? So that is real news, unlike the John Kuhn tweet or Micah going to see a doctor. But I think Micah going to see a doctor is what led to this. So I didn't know that this news was coming down, obviously, but it feeds in perfectly to what I was going to say either way, which is Micah's trying to be proactive in being able to miss games. And my guess is he's going to find the doctor that says his back is tight. And they're saying, I see what you're talking about, sir. So here is the typical order of operations. I know sometimes you get annoyed with the kind of nerdiness of it, but I think it's important for the audience to get it. It typically would go like this. Player says, I have an ailment. Team doctor checks him out. Team doctor clears him. If player says, no, I still have the ailment, then the team can say, all right, go get the second opinion. And if that second opinion clears him, then he's supposed to play. Micah, before the team has demanded the second opinion, is going to get it, which is, to me, an indicator that he is trying to make it very clear, I'll be safe and unfinable, and you'll still owe me game checks, and you won't be able to suspend me for withholding services because, now listen, maybe the doctor's going to say he doesn't, but I would imagine he'll find, he knows what he's doing.
Any truth to the rumor that the doctor he's going to see is his cousin?
No. Oh, is his cousin a doctor? I didn't know.
Just playing,
no. So now this could lead to one of two things. Because there is the real threat of him missing games. When there was a real threat of CeeDee Lamb missing games, but via holdout, he got a deal done. Zeke, real threat, he got a deal done. Dak, there was no real threat of missing games, so he got a deal done. So maybe it leads to getting a deal done, or maybe this is another instance of it getting uglier, and what Howie Long told us yesterday comes to fruition, which is this new Cowboys head coach and brain trust decides, you know what? Let's see how much we really can get for Micah Parsons.
Well, to address your question directly, am I starting to doubt that this gets done? I have been doubting for the last few weeks that this was going to get done. I'm not where I was last year with Dak, where I was like, it's getting done.
Yep.
I know it's getting done, and obviously it did. But within the last few days, I have actually started leaning more toward it's getting done.
Oh.
I do think Micah is going to see the doctor is putting a little bit more pressure on the Cowboys to the degree that he can because he doesn't have much leverage. And maybe I'm caught up in the Terry McLaurin, Trey Hendrickson, they signed, just in time to start the season. But I'm really starting to believe this is going to get done. And Jerry, look, even if they're open to trading him, and I believe the reporting, Jerry wanted to sign him. I mean, assuming Jerry was not lying about any of those player negotiations he did with Micah, like he wanted to sign him. That was plan A. All right, so people that want to say maybe they've realized having 3 guys that are atop their position in terms of salary, we can't build a team around him. Well, he was ready to do it a few months ago and really more recently than that. So I do think my number one choice right now in how I think this will end is they do get a deal within the next few days, maybe over the weekend or Monday, something like that. And then Micah may play a few downs on a pitch count Thursday. My second choice is, though, a trade. I do think, I think some type of resolution is coming more so than Micah sitting out a few games. So I am starting to think for the first time, too, that a trade could be possible.
Can I ask you a question about the trade? And I know this news just came down, but you are true. You have the cat
I got the CBA.
Forwards in
yeah,
there.
exactly. Of course, that's what I'm here for.
So let's say we all think Micah deserves $40 million, just as a nice round number.
Yeah.
The Cowboys.
42, actually.
Okay.
Okay, but
Just want to give it. And let's say the Patriots have a ton of money.
Yeah.
Patriots can make it. By the way, we also want 2 first-round picks. It's like, oof. We'd be willing to give you $40 million because that's what we think he deserves to be compensated. But now we got to give you 2 picks and 40.
So this is
feels like very. It's a lot for the Patriots to bear.
Yeah. So that is something Barnwell talks about all the time. That trading for a player to then give him a contract, the cost of that, it's not just your salary, it's also the cost-controlled young players that you're not getting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this is something in those 10,000-word opuses Bill writes all the time. He's written about extensively that it is the most expensive way to acquire a player, and that's what you're describing.
Yeah.
It's not that the Patriots might be, if Micah Parsons were a free agent, the Patriots would be super eager to give him $45 million a year. Are they super eager to give him $45 million a year and not have a first-round pick each of the next 2 years, which would have, in theory, been, probably not with the Patriots, but with most teams, good players who they keep on the team for the entirety of their rookie contracts.
And, I mean, seriously, the Patriots aren't the Bills, the Ravens. Those picks, theoretically, I know you got them in the playoffs, but those should be good picks.
No.
Good high
It
first
feels
round.
like this is really an all-in move. You know what? I don't care about my pick from 2 years now because my Josh Allen window is
getting
shorter by the
I
day,
don't think
theoretically.
there's a few. Listen, I think that the good but not great player that hits free agency and gets paid like a great player is almost always money poorly spent. I can't think of a great example in this. You know what? I will use one. The Chiefs' right tackle, Jawan Taylor, who's the guy, he's famous really just for all the penalties, but he's a solid right tackle. But he was the only right tackle available a couple years ago when the Chiefs had to have one. He hit free agency, and all of a sudden he's making $20 million a year at a time that was top of the right tackle market because he was available. Right. I think those contracts typically are the ones you want to avoid. I think there are a handful of guys, and sometimes it's just 2 or 3 at each position, that it's almost impossible to overpay for him. Like whatever like Justin Jefferson. You know what I mean? What is the best receiver cost? Add $5 million to it, he's worth it.
Yep.
I view Micah in that bucket. And so trading away the draft capital, it would really depend on how close I think I am. If I were the Patriots, I wouldn't do it. I'm not.
I don't.
But if a team that feels like they are, you know what I mean, on the precipice, I don't think that you're going to in 3 years be like, man, I wish we didn't have Micah Parsons on our team.
Totally agree.
And so, so he is a very unique. If this whole thing were happening, you might agree with me, Brew, with T.J. Watt, I would feel very differently.
Yeah.
Because I would, even if you think T.J. Watt and Micah right now are equivalent players, I'd be nervous about what T.J. is going to look like in 3 years because of his age and all of that. I'm not worried about that with Micah Parsons. So I'd be on the phone with Dallas for sure if I think I'm close, if this is a position of need. And for most teams, superstar pass rusher is a position of need, even if you have one. Like, it's just the most important.
I could argue it's like exponentially
better if you already
can't
have
double team.
Yeah.
And the other thing we haven't really talked about as much on this show, but remember Jane Slater had the report that 2 years ago they thought about trading Micah, and that Micah was a problem in the locker room with some guys, and that there's, according to some coach on the staff, there were guys always in the front office complaining about him. So does that have anything to do with why they haven't gotten this done? I don't know.
I read that the Cowboys are now finally fielding phone calls, which is the news from Schefter from 20 minutes ago, as anger that Micah went to go get this second opinion. Because I think, Brew, your initial point is correct. They wanted to pay him. He hasn't changed as a player. You know what I mean? They wanted to pay him top of the market at the time. Your opinion of Micah, so this is not, to me, a financial question for Jerry Jones, because if you're willing to pay him top of the market, then you're not going scorched earth over it being top of the market. Now, it's a power thing. You know what I mean?
It's a pride and an ego thing for Jerry Jones.
Pride, ego, power, all of it. Yep. And now I think he has been thinking, I hold the hammer, you're under contract. And I think that maybe there is a realization of, what if I don't hold the hammer? Because the hammer is actually, we're pro athletes, and how are you going to truly prove my back doesn't hurt? Like, you know what and are we going to go to war over whether or not my back hurts? And let's say you win that war, and I do have to play. And a play into the game, my back hurts.
The charade.
Yes. And it's something you should never put yourself in a position in with this player that you drafted that wants to be there, that
you theoretically want there.
Right. That you
And now
need.
I got to get on a flight. I wonder where the doctor is.
Probably some other NFC East city. The best orthopedist in Philadelphia? That would be my guess.
All right, before we move on, a lot of times we ask, where do you want to see Micah? I'll flip it, since the Chiefs are the reigning dynasty. They're not the best team, but
they weren't the best team for a night last year.
Where don't you want to see Micah as a Chiefs fan?
Oh, Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo. I would not like to see Micah Parsons show up in Buffalo.
The Bills should be doing all they can.
So then they should get him.
And the Ravens. The Ravens, for that matter. But
the Ravens,
the Ravens
are like, if Lamar plays better, we can win.
No, I agree.
The Bills are like, Josh plays well, and